Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Clarity Soft training webinar. Today is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. I'm Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at Clarity Soft, and our topic for today is the Actions menu, formerly the List Actions menu. This is a menu that sometimes gets overlooked by people, and it actually has a lot of functionality under it that can help you do different things within the database. So that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the main things that you can do in here that people don't think about is you are able to navigate from one place to another within the database. So the Actions menu purpose basically is to allow you to select more than one record and perform the same action on that group of selected records. And one of the techniques that you can do is to navigate from one place to another. For example, in accounts, you would be able to filter your accounts by a state or a city or an industry type or market segment or whatever custom fields you have, select those records, and then you can go to the Actions menu and say view the contacts or view all the activities that we've done with all of these companies in a particular state. And then from contacts, you can move to either accounts or to activities. So each module has a way to navigate from one location to another so that you can then do something else in that module that you navigate to. Editing, one of the great features of Clarity Soft that's been with Clarity Soft from the very beginning is something we call group editing. And it comes in really handy when you have maybe added a new custom field into your database and all of the data is not there. So you or your team can go in and go along the left-hand side and click in check boxes and say, all of these that I've selected are in the same industry type or whatever it is you need to update. Do a group edit, and done. All the records that are selected are updated to the selected option. So that's a functionality that's really handy within the database. The other one, which I'm sure most of you have probably used if you've been using Clarity Soft for a while, is sending email. Filter a list and select it, and then you can send emails out to that selected list of people. But adding the navigation to filter at accounts or somewhere else and then navigating to another location can be very helpful. Another thing you can do is export data. Your data in your Clarity Soft database can be exported from any of the modules at any time. We do not lock it up in any way for you. The only thing, if you're a user in the system, it's possible when you go to choose export to Excel, you don't see it under your Actions menu because your admin user has restricted you from exporting. So we'll explore that. And then the other one, adding different activities or a group of activities at the same time in the form of a single activity for a group of selected contacts, or in the form of an action plan that you create and apply to new customers or new leads or something that drop in multiple activities that are scheduled out according to how you set up the action plan. And then we have a few other things that we can cover as well. So we're gonna go through samples of all of these as we work, and hopefully this will give you some ideas on what you can use these actions for. So let me go to my Clarity Soft. The Actions menu is up here. And like I said, it was formerly List Actions, and each module has its own set of options. Most of them are pretty much the same, but you'll notice in accounts, you cannot email from the accounts module. You have to email from any of the other modules, but not accounts. But you can see here is your group edit, your merge. I didn't mention this. If you have a duplicate account, you can merge those two accounts together to create one and save. And it merges all the contacts, all the activities, everything that's connected to that account that you're merging from and to. Also, we do have a show on map function that works with Google Maps, which I'll demonstrate to you. The unmapped QuickBooks, don't worry about because you're not using that. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is the navigating. Let's say that I want to find all of the people that are of a particular industry type, in this case, manufacturing, that are in Michigan and Ohio and are an account type of a prospect. Because maybe I want to email all of them an email. Perhaps I'm going on the road and I'm going to travel around Michigan, Ohio, and I want to see if I can set up appointments or I can just set up some meetings. Now, I've already created this filter and saved it. So I have prospects, Michigan and Ohio. Oh, that's lovely. There it goes. And so I get my Michigan and Ohio state, and I get my prospects. I did not restrict for industry type, and you can see that I have some blank ones. I just really look for prospects in Michigan and Ohio. As I said before, I cannot email from here. If I select all of these and I go to the actions menu, there is no email. Okay, because there are no email addresses in the account record. So it is not set to be able to do that. But I can go here and say, view contacts. And then you get a choice. Do you want to do the records marked as checked or all the filtered records? In this case, it wouldn't matter which one you did because they're the same. Where this matters is if you selected, if you filtered and you got 125 records, when you click in the checkbox to select all the records, it only will select the first 100 or 50 or 20, depending on what you have your page results set for. So if I wanted to go to all 125, then I would have to choose all filtered records. So that's the difference. Here, it doesn't matter. I click apply and notice that ClaritySoft moves me to the contacts module and shows me all the contacts for those selected accounts. And sometimes you can see you might have more than one, sometimes you don't have any, which means maybe you have to do some work to find some accounts for those modules. And then here we can see we don't have an email address. But at this point, I can then say, okay, well, I'd like to email all of these people. So I'm going to select them all, go to the actions menu, choose email contacts, again, for the records marked as checked, and it's going to pull up an email form. Now, I had 5 people, but notice there are only 4 here because one of them did not have an email address. So obviously it can't send it if there isn't an address there. So that's one thing. Again, you want to make sure all your data is as accurate as possible before you start doing a lot of these things. And then at this point, if I had a template I wanted to send, maybe I'm going to be traveling there, something, I could go pick that template and put it in. Or if I don't have a template, I can type in here. Going to be visiting your area. We'll put it in here. And then I can come down here and say hello and click on insert fields, pull in first name, Click OK. And I will be traveling, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So you would type your email. And once you have it all typed and everything, you go down and you click send. So in just a few clicks, you have filtered at the account level for the specific records that you want. You've selected them. You've used the actions menu to view those contacts for those accounts. And then you've selected them to send an email. So you can see that it kind of works its way through. I didn't have to do anything special. I got to where I wanted to go very quickly and easily. Okay. So that's filtering at one level and viewing at another one. If I go back to accounts and maybe I say, okay, I want to see before I go visit all these people or talk to them, I want to see, well, what in the world have I already done with them? Well, I could do, you know, record by record. I could go here and look at my activities that I've done. Okay. And just move my way down. Or I can do this, select them all, go to actions and view activities. Then again, it's for all the records marked as checked. Moves me to activities. Now you're going to say, uh-oh, I've only done one thing with all of these people. That can't be. Well, you have to look at your filter up here. This is showing today's activities. So if you change this to all activities, now you're going to see everything that you've done with those selected records. Now I'm also, this is showing just me, and I think a lot of those accounts belong to other people. So check that filter too if you're not seeing. So now I've got 20 different activities because those are owned by other people. Again, you would search for the records that are yours. But I just wanted you to see that if you do the view activities and you come here and you see, you know, 2 or 3 and you know you've done more, it's like, don't panic. You're just filtering. So go to all activities and then make sure which user or users is selected there so you can see them. But then this allows me to see, and I can then also sort by the account name. So I can literally just go down and see everything I did for this one account on down to all of them. And if I wanted to, I could kick these out into an export to Excel with that included the notes, which takes us to another actions where I can click here and go to actions, export to Excel. And as I said at the beginning, it's possible you may not have this option because your admin has not given it to you. So that would be a discussion to have. But if I click on that, again, it's all the records marked as checked. And then I get a list, and then I can pull over the fields that I want to pull out. I may want to see the city and the state. I may want to see the completed date. You know, all of the stuff that you want to see, you're able to pull over. Here's first name, here's last name, or I could simply pull the contact name over. Contact will be the first and last name together in the same column. First name, last name will split. So, you know, for this situation, probably just pulling the contact name out is fine, but I'll pull it out so you can see the difference. And then you could go down and maybe here's your notes, which would be important to see. There's a phone number. So again, you pull out all of the fields that you want. Probably if I have the city, the state, the zip code, okay. And then when you click apply, Clarity Soft is going to download that to Excel. Where did it go? So there are my activities, okay? And it pulls out all the information. You can see here contact has the first and last name together in the same column. This splits it. For your purposes, you probably wouldn't need it split. And then over here, it will pull out your notes. So whatever the notes are, if it's an email that you've sent, you will see the text of the email. So that's a way to use the navigation to get you to a list of activities, which then you can export out to Excel. So just start thinking of creative ways to do these things and, look at your actions menu, review it for each one so that you can see what you can do in each module. Okay. So that's activities. Now let me go through here. Group edit. This is one that can be useful. It can also potentially be a bit dangerous. So again, sometimes people don't give their users the ability to do a group edit, but it does save a lot of time. And what I have here, this industry type, it looks, for my first 100 records, most of them are filled in, but you see I have a lot of gaps. And if I do a search on an industry type, all of the records that have no industry type won't come up in any of the searches. So I'm going to lose a bunch of them. And maybe that $1 million customer is one I don't send an email to or I don't contact when I search by industry type because it isn't filled in. So it's very important to fill this information in. And everybody sits here and says, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, you can use the group edit. So one of the things you can do is get your list. I'm looking at all accounts, and then you can click on the heading, which will search A to Z. Now it's doing Z to A. Now I'm searching the A to Z, which is going to put all the blank ones at the top. Okay, so then I can see how many blank ones I have or see all the blank ones I have. Then I can start to go down the left-hand side and say, find the ones or pick the ones and I know all fit in the same category. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of randomly pick these things. I think I have a financial industry type. So we're just going to go down through and pick a few. And you can see that you can click. You don't have to do all of them. You can do whichever ones you know fit and randomly check them. Okay. And I can go down the first 100. So I could scroll down the first 100. Don't go to the next page. If you do, you'll lose what you checked on the first page. So it's only going to apply to the one page at a time. So once I've selected these, go to Actions, Group Edit. Again, the record's marked as checked. And then I get to select my field. Well, the field I have is my industry type, which is near the bottom half. When you're scrolling down, you'll notice a dashed line. That is the divider between the Clarity Soft fields on the upper half and your custom fields on the lower half of the list. Choose your field, then choose what they are. I'll just make professional services. That sounds good. Okay. And then when I click apply, those selected records now have professional services. Now notice they disappeared from here. And that's because of the way I've sorted them, because I sorted so all of the blank ones are at the top and they're down in the list now. Okay. So don't panic that you lost them. They're just down in the list. And so you just kind of keep working your way through. Another way to do this, which I like to do because I don't always get the task done when I start out to do it, I created a filter where I looked for all of the records where the industry type is empty. Okay. So I went to advanced search and I did a standard filter and said the industry type is empty. And then I saved it. So blank industry type, which you'll see that I have 136 records. It was at 217 because I was looking at all my accounts. Now I'm only looking at the 136 that are empty. And what's cool about doing it this way is as you go down, again, I may be putting stupid stuff here. As you go down and select these, and then do a group edit, let's say, I guess half of them are in this. This is good. What's going to happen as soon as the field gets filled in, it disappears from my filter. And now you can see I have 132 left. So doing it this way kind of gives you a little bit of incentive because you're going to say, oh, I only have 132 to go. All right, I can do some more. And then if you get sidetracked away from finishing this, you can go back to all your accounts. The ones you've done will be there, okay? And if I search on, I can sort by my account name again. And if I do go to advanced search and I look for professional services, which were the ones I did first, I will find the records that I updated. I did this one and this one, all of these were done, okay? So you can search on it and see, but it's, it's just a way because life tends to interrupt you 50,000 times while you're trying to do something like this. So if you create that filter, then you'll know how many you have left. You can come back and say, okay, I can go back to working on this. There's my 132 and start going down and doing a group edit. Okay. So use your imagination here and create a filter for yourself to help you. And then you can do your group edits. And you just, again, need to make sure that whatever you're changing has to go for every selected record, the same data. So you pick records that are all going to be the same industry type or account type or whatever you're updating in the record. And you have group edit available in contacts, in opportunities, all of the modules, including activities. So use that to help you do things, okay? So that's your group edit. Another place where that can be a nice shortcut is in the activities module. When you have, I'll just say my today's activities. My today's activities are kind of messy because they're from forever ago. You can see they go back to 2018. And sometimes people don't update their activities very well. So I have mixed emotions about telling you this because I'm a very strong believer in putting notes in your activities before you mark it complete, which would be, you're going to open the activity and type in some notes and then complete it that way or do a complete and new. But if you get where, you did a task or something, a couple of tasks that you did and you don't really need to put in a note, you can select these and maybe an email also you did. Then you can go to actions and say complete, or you can do a complete and new. Okay. But if I do a complete, these are going to drop off my to-do list, and I'm down to those. So they will now be on my completed activities list. And actually, if I do it this way, completed this week, then we're going to see those right here. Okay. And the completed date is here. And just as a reminder to everybody, that completed date is the system date of the computer when you mark the activity complete. You cannot change this, okay? So you can see here, this went back to 1/25/2019. I'm completing it nearly, well, more than 2 years later. I can't say to the system, I did this on the 25th of 2019 because I didn't mark it complete that day. So just be aware of that and make sure your team is aware of that too, because sometimes people leave their activities until the end of the week to complete them all for the week, and then you get skewed reports if you're basing your activity reports on the completed date rather than the start date. So just a reminder of that, okay? So that's how you can use your group edit in activities, is to mark things as being completed. All right, now, what if you wanted to set a new activity for more than one contact person? You can do that. And let me go here. I want to click my list all because that's my list of contacts from my filter. So for example, maybe what I want to do, because it might make it easier, I might want to start at accounts, and I want to filter for all of the people that are in the food and beverage industry. Okay. And perhaps they are also a customer. I don't know how many we're going to get. We'll see. So there we are. So we have active customer, food and beverage. And what I want to do is I want to set an activity to contact them or to do something with them. Okay. So I select actions, view contacts, and I get 15 contacts. Now, I have a whole bunch of contacts for 1-800-CUPCAKE. Now, it's possible I don't want to do the activity with all of these guys there. There's only 1 or 2 people that I want to do it for. So again, I can come down the left and choose the people that I know I work with at those places. And just kind of go my way down. And looks like most of these are here. Okay. So I could do it faster maybe by clicking the all and then unclicking the ones I don't want. Either way, that works. So let's say I want to set up a reminder for me to call them. So I can go to actions, and then you can see new activity. And then again, for the records marked as checked, let's just say call RE new product line or whatever. Again, it would be something. And then you select your activity type, what it's going to be. Notice the contact field is blank and yellow because you've selected multiple contacts, so it can't put them all in there. So that's telling you that you've done that. And then you can set a date and say, well, I want to do this. I'm going to spend next Monday doing this. Okay. And if you want to set a time for a phone call, it probably doesn't matter, but you could say, well, I'm going to try and start this at 9 o'clock in the morning. All right. And then I click save. Now, what has occurred is all of the selected people now have a new activity set for next Monday. Okay. So you will see it there. And then when you go to the activities module and you look at, say, future activities, and am I stuck in here again? Oops. Now we should see all of these. Why am I not seeing them all? I think, oh, there it is, because I had a filter from before. Okay, so here are all my activities that I just created. So here, call new product line, new product line, new product line. Okay, so all the people I selected, this is set for Monday, the 17th to do with all these people. And then I already have in my column settings here, the phone numbers. So I can, come here and give them a call. And while I'm hopefully talking to the person, I can put my notes in and then do a complete or a complete and new. So I've just set up all those reminders to give a call to people. And again, a matter of a few clicks. You search, you select at the account level, and then view your contacts, select your contacts, and add a new activity. Okay. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on how that can be used. Another way to use your activities or your contacts might be to log an activity that you did with multiple people. It could be the same activity. Again, it could be a couple of ways. Maybe you had a team meeting with all the folks at 1-800-Cupcake. So what you want to do is, log that with all those people. So you could, to make it a little easier, you could type in 800 here. It's going to show you the 1-800-Cupcake team. This guy's gone. So if we select all of them and then deselect him, I can go to actions and then I can log an activity. And the activity type would be, maybe we had a meeting. Okay, the subject was discuss new project or something like that. And then you'd put your notes in. Okay, and save it. Now, every single one of these people has that same activity logged, so that no matter who you go look at, you will know they were in that meeting and you have the notes for them. Okay, so that's another way to use the actions menu for activities. Okay, all right. Then another one that comes up sometimes, especially after people import data, they may discover they have a duplicate of a record because the name of the company is spelled slightly differently. Computers being what they are, very literal. If you spell a company name one character different, that includes commas, spaces, periods, hyphens, etc., it's going to create a different account record. So especially when you're importing, you don't always catch those in your list, and you might miss a few. So if you come across one where you see, oh shoot, we've got two of them, like I have here, I have Chop Logic and I have ChopLogic Media. So what I want to do here is merge these two together into one account because they are indeed the same, okay? Now, sometimes you might need to check to make sure that they are at the same location. It is indeed the same account. It's not the same name of an account, but in a different location. Then you have a different situation. But what you do is you search, you find your duplicate, click in the check boxes, go to Actions, and choose Merge. And what you want to do always is merge the accounts first. Then you can merge any duplicate contacts that might be created from that. So you can merge accounts and contacts only, that's it. But you always want to do the accounts first because they're the top of the structure. So if I click on merge, it says, okay, well, there are these two records. Which one do you want to merge to? And what you'd want to do is, first of all, look at the name. Which name do you prefer? You'd want to look at, maybe some of the address information is missing from one or the other. Well, I want the full name of ChopLogic Media. So I then click Merge, and ChopLogic is now gone. The next step that I want to do is go view the contacts. So I'm going to click in the checkbox, go to Actions, and view the contacts. And then when I get here, I need to double check for duplicates here. And you can see, oh, I have a duplicate of Randolph Taylor. Now, I think it didn't find this because it didn't have an email address for him. Usually it'll put a number 1 in parentheses, but I can see I have a duplicate. The other way you might find a duplicate is one person put in Randolph Taylor and another put in Randy Taylor. So, or Deborah versus Debbie or something like that. So you always want to check your contacts. And then you do the same thing here. Say, well, these two are a duplicate, and I'm going to select them and go to merge. And then I can see that this Randolph here has more data. So that's the one I want to merge to. And there will then only be one Randolph Taylor left. Now, if Randolph has activities associated with him or opportunities or quotes, all those will be merged underneath the correct record. So you don't have to worry about that. The system does that whole merging down below. So you only have to do the account, and then you do any contacts that might be duplicates. You always want to check, and then you're good to go. Okay, so that's another function that can be very helpful in finding or fixing duplicates that you come across as you work, because again, sometimes your people don't check the database before they add a new account, so they type the name slightly differently and the system says, okay, I can do that. And then later you discover, oh, well, shoot, there was already an account record in there with a bunch of stuff on it. So then you can merge them together. So that's there. All righty, moving right along here. Action plans. You will see in contacts and opportunities. Let me think where else. There are action plans able to connect or add to the module. You can do them in opportunities, okay? You also can do them in the leads module. So if you're using the leads module, where this can be helpful is if you get a new lead in or a group of new leads, you can have a filter created that will show you all the new leads just for today. And so I've got one here, new leads for today, which basically it's looking for a creation date of today. I guess I can show you that really quickly. So here's leads created today. I don't have anything on the form filter, but on the time filter, I have creation date is this one day. So each day is going to pull up only those leads created on the current day. So that's how you would set that filter up and then save it. So each day then you can run the filter, okay, and say, all right, well, I'm going to set an action plan for each one of these so the sales team can begin to follow up on them. And over here, you can also assign your leads to different people, okay? So somebody that might be the sales manager would go and see who the new leads are, and maybe according to where they are or whatever, they would assign those to people. Or if the people are creating their own new leads, then they can also assign an action plan. So what you do is, again, select, go to actions and action plan. All right. Now, maybe before we do this, let me show you what an action plan is so you understand it. An action plan has to be created by an admin user who has the right to do it in the settings. And you can create multiple action plans and save them. So here's one that is already created. You give it a name. Then you're able to say whether in your count of days to exclude weekends so that you're working with like a 5-day week instead of a 7-day week. That's up to you. And then you create your activity. So here, this is an initial lead email. Okay. The activity type is an email. It's assigned to whomever is the record owner. So it will go according, to who the record owner is. That person will get that activity. It starts 0 days after you apply the action plan, and it should be due within 2 or completed within 2. And then the next one is to call after you send the email within 4 days and complete within 6. So when you create action plans, you set up this time frame. So if I open this, you'll see you put in basically the subject line, the activity type, okay, what priority it is, you select which user. If there's a specific user that will always, always, always do this initial lead email, then you choose that user. But for the most part, it usually falls to whoever owns the record. And then you say, how many days after we start the action plan do you want this to start, and how many days after it is due? And then if you want to send a reminder, this gets kind of crazy. I think people get too many reminders and it's like, oh my gosh, my email box is flooded with all this stuff. So I don't necessarily recommend that. And then these two, you don't need at all, okay? You may not even see these and save it. So then you can add as many activities as you want to your action plan, going out however far you want to go, okay? So we just have these 3 for this new lead follow-up. Here's a new customer one where you can say, okay, when a new customer comes on board, you want to do a 1-week check-in. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Then you want to do a 1 month check-in via email. Then you want to do a 6 month check-in. You can set these up however span of time, and you can see the number of days out from the start of the action plan. So these can be pretty cool and save you lots of time of creating the same activities over again, okay? Once you create your action plans, then you do need to log out and log back in, and then search here for all the new leads for today. Actions, action plan. And then here it says, well, which action plan do you want? I want the new lead follow-up one. Drops the activities in and it shows you the dates. Okay? Because the start date right now is 5/11. If I change this to 5/13, see how the dates change? So you can start it on any day that you want to start it, and then it calculates the dates for you, okay? Then you click Save. And you also can stick these on a person's calendar if you want, and you can send them an email to tell them about it if you click in these check boxes. So this would be put onto the user's calendar. So now, doesn't look like anything happened, but open activities, boom, all 3 of them are here. The dates are there. And if we reverse the sort on this, we can see 5/11, 5/17, 5/25. So I just put in 4 times 3, 12 activities for all the selected records in a matter of what, about 4 clicks. So that can be really helpful. These are great for new lead follow-ups and for new customer follow-ups. Or perhaps even in opportunities, creating an action plan and opportunities to make sure people are staying on top of their customers and following up with their opportunities and moving them from stage to stage. So again, you can create as many different action plans as you need and save them, and then they can be applied wherever you want to apply them within the database. So if you haven't explored those, that's probably something to think about. You know, maybe sit down with your team and say, hey, where do you find that you're creating the same activities over and over again every time we get a new lead or a new customer or a new contact or whatever? What can we do to help automate that? And you can probably create some action plans for yourself. All right. Okay. Then another one. Let's see. Let me go back to here. I want to go to contacts. Another option that's under here is create documents. And again, people are like, well, what the heck are those? I don't know. A document is what we call a merge document. It's basically the ability to create a Word merge, a Word type, let's say, merge document in the database, in contacts, opportunities, quotes, or sales. And you can type any text that you want, and you can pull information into the document. Where some people use it might be for a contract that they might want to write, and it might be written in the opportunities module because it's pulling data from the opportunities module into that text. It could perhaps be used as a proposal type of document where you're putting a proposal together and again, pulling information in from a opportunity, perhaps a quote. The one thing you need to remember is it won't pull in your products and services list, okay? But if you don't do that, there's a lot of people I work with that don't use products and services. They basically kind of type in their own products or they put them into the record directly. Then you could use that for the documents. So again, now there is another video out online on documents merge, and so that will go into more detail, but basically what you do to create a document, a merge document, you go to the module where you want to create it, okay? And I know I have something in contacts that's already built, so I'll go here. And you go about this kind of in a weird way, is what you do is you open any record in contacts, doesn't matter. Then at the top here, you have this document button for a new document. You click on it, and then it's asking you, do you want to create a new document or a new template? Where you want to start is with a new template. Then you're going to give the template a name. And I'm just going to call this webinar. It could be contract. Again, if it's a contract, you probably want to go to the opportunity or the quote or the sale module and create it there because that's where you're going to create or pull your data from, okay, and have maybe custom fields. So you put in a title, you click create, and then this opens into basically what is a Word type document. It's called a rich text editor, so it's very similar to Word. Doesn't have all of the functionality, but it has a lot of it. And if you already have a document created in Word, you can copy and paste the text into here and then get started with it. So what's nice about it is, I'm just going to put in, oh, good heavens. Okay, so for example, I want to pull in the data for the account information. So when I want to put fields in, I come up here to the Mail Merge tab and I go to Insert Merge Field. Now I get a list of all of the fields available to me to pull in, which will include all the basic fields in the record. So I could pull in the account name, and you can only do one at a time, okay? Just like in Word, does the same thing, but what you can do is you could say, well, I want the address, and I want the city, and I want the state, and I want the zip code, okay? So I do all of those, and then I just come here and click in between and hit the Enter key to move it down to the next line, and then city, I would want a comma space, state, and zip code. So you can throw more than one in at a time. You just need to then go back to it. So then I can type my document, you know, whatever I'm typing, I can format it any way I want. I can come up to the toolbar up here and I can insert, you know, I can put bullets in, I can change the font, you know, I have almost all the things. I can put in a table if I want to put a table in to hold some data in columns and stuff like that. So like I said, it's very, very similar to Word and probably will work for most of what you want to do, and you can copy and paste. So once you get your template all done, then you click save. It already has a name. Okay, so you do a save. If you want to change the name, you do a save as, and then you click exit. So now what you have is a template built. Then if I wanted to create a document based upon the template, I would go back to this button. First of all, I'd open my contact record wherever I want to go back to here, and then I can see there's my webinar template. I'm going to click on it, and then it says, well, do you want to create a new document? Do you want to edit the existing template, or do you want to delete it? Well, now I want to create a document from the template. So then I would give this one, 1-800 cupcake document, whatever, again, might be contract, whatever. And this is specific now to 1-800 cupcake. And I create it. Now you can see it's pulling in the data from the 1-800 cupcake contact record. And what's cool about this is I have a basic template, but when I open this as a new document for 1-800 cupcake, I can type additional text in here. The quote templates in ClaritySoft, once you create a quote template, they're fixed. You open the quote, you email the quote, and you can't do anything on the fly. This, you can type additional information, and then you can come up here to the file menu and choose save. Then if I exit, I now have under this documents tab, the 1-800 cupcake document, which when I open it, will have that additional text that I typed in. So even though you've got a template, each one can be edited. Then once you've saved this, you can then directly email it to the person right from here. It will open it, an email, and attach it as a PDF. Okay. The other thing that you can then do is in your contacts. Let's see here. You can pull up a list of people, select them, go to actions and say create documents for all the records marked as checked, choose my webinar template, and I can either print them out to mail them, or I can email one to everybody. So it will show you all the people. Then you could put in your email, hello, and put in first name field and type my email to everybody and send it. And then down at the bottom, that document is attached as a PDF. So that's kind of nice to be able to do, is to have those sorts of templates that you can create. If you have another template saved, like an email template, then you can pick it. Like I've got one here. Oh, here's a welcome new customer. So it will pull in this. It says, hello, we'd like to welcome you. Okay, very simple. Obviously, I would do something different, but it would have that information there, and you'd make it really nice, and then you just send it to everybody. So that's that. All right, well, I've managed to use up my full hour again, but I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. The one last thing I was going to show you is the mapping. If I go here, I'll just say prospects in Michigan and Ohio, and I know some of these I don't think are in the right places, so I'm just going to select a few of them. So I don't know. This doesn't really have an address. We'll see what happens. And then Cleveland. So again, you can pull up by a state, you can pull up by a city, all the people you have in a city. Go to actions, go to show on map, and then it will pull it up. And okay, we did get Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Toledo. So it's got those plotted on the map. Again, you could see an advantage to that if you are doing a run around a particular city. You can select everybody in a particular city and plot them on the map, and then go from there. You can also plot things on the map from your phone in the mobile app as well. All right. Well, hopefully that gave you some ideas on these action menus. Go to each module and look at the different action menus that are in each module and try some of these things out. See if they help you be a little bit more efficient in how you use ClaritySoft and make you, get along and do things. So first of all, thanks for attending. We always like to have a good group. If you need help, then you can call our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. The support team is available by phone between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then the rest of the time for email. And if you have any future topic requests, critiques, ideas, whatever, send it to us at info@claritysoft.com. We like hearing from folks. Your ideas often get incorporated into the database over time. So send us your thoughts and what you're thinking about and what you think would be helpful to you and all that good stuff. And we'll try to accommodate at some future point. So go have a good rest of the day, and we'll talk at our next session.